September the 12th, 2023. You're looking at the 11 a.m. advisory this morning from Sky Tower down 13 down in Florida. And we're currently dealing with a Cat 3 at 115 miles per hour. That will last till it gets below 111. And that's what it's saying. Wednesday at 8 p.m., that's tomorrow evening, a 110-mile Cat Category 2. Check that out. Now, Friday by 8 a.m., Friday, 90 mile per hour, Cat 1. Thursday at 8 p.m., before that, a 100 mile per hour storm. And then it remains a Cat 1 until it comes ashore. Saturday at 8 a.m., 75 mile per hour storm. Saturday is not the day to wait, neither is Friday, because this is Friday a.m. right here. So halfway through this, it's going to get dark because we're going 24 hours. Notice this, from Friday 8 a.m. to Saturday at 8 a.m. So Thursday is your time to be prepared, and because you'll see the size of the storm in a minute. But guys, when it gets right here, it's so large that all of these areas are going to be starting to be affected. So it's not the time when that starts happening to rush around and make your last minute preparations. Here between Wednesday and Thursday, a Cat 2 is going to bring its bad side to Bermuda, which is the black dot right there. Check it out. But again, you got through Thursday. Tomorrow's Wednesday, Thursday, then the East Coast and all the way up, guys. You're dealing with Nova Scotia, Maine, and New Brunswick, these areas here. But notice, this is not the size of the storm. The predicted center, if it moves a little more to the left, the center could come right through here, and Long Island, Boston, all of that area would be affected. So what you got to do now before Thursday evening, all the way up the coast here, make sure you got all your ducks in a row. That way you're not caught in the last minute gas lines or generator lines or water, food lines, batteries. Go and charge up everything, cell phones, everything. Get it ready. Get your weather radios out. Now, this spaghetti model was updated at 12 p.m. Eastern, which is 29 minutes ago here at Central Time. You can see everything's varying. You got here Maine, Halifax, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, St. John's out to the right. A lot of it shows it coming in and then making a hard turn to the east. So St. John's, do not take your eyes off this thing at all. CMC has got it coming across Halifax here in the Nova Scotia area. Navy model is very close to that. Check that out right there. So center of circulation now is predicted to come across the Halifax area in Nova Scotia. But because we see this changing daily, I want to reiterate. Let's take a look at the Euro model. The last time we looked at it, it was still pretty much broadside with Maine in that area. But let's pull this thing forward slowly. It moves fast on the Euro model. Right there, bam. Let me back that up. So you can see Maine is right there, and it's on the bad side of the storm at this point. You got Nova Scotia here. But look how close it is to Long Island in this area. So again, you need to be well ahead of the game by this point. Let's come back one step here. 16th, it's already too close to run and make prep. So again, Thursday night before you go to bed, make sure you're ready. Let me play it all the way through. Notice the secondary storm follows it that's coming off of Africa. Play it through a little slower. Right there. There's Margot. Here's the unnamed storm. Will more than likely start with an N. Someone could look up the 23 hurricane names. Right there, that's a broadside into the northeast. Now the Navy model, let's look at that. Nova Scotia, you're more in the center of the impact here. It's a little further to the east than the European model. Notice right here. We'll back this up, guys. We'll bring it back. That's the 16th. Again, you need to be ready right in this area here, the 15th. Come forward. Nova Scotia, you're pretty much going to catch it to the right side of the island the worst, but the entire area will be involved. And if we go forward, notice how far this is over to the left. So you're going to be in some strong probably tropical storm winds at this area, Maine, according to this model, of course. Right into Nova Scotia on the 16th. 17th, it's like it's going very slow, guys. Right there, still the 17th. So you're going to get a lot of rain. And just let it play all the way through. Again, Margot's getting tangled up, kind of like the Fujiwara effect we talked about a couple times. And then your African storm seems to be pretty much following the path of Lee right there. So it's going to be a busy next couple of weeks. Now, looking at the Canadian model, it gives us some interesting features here. Again, this is more to the very western tip of Nova Scotia, then a hard turn right. Well, let's watch what happens here. Lee is here. Here's Margot, and they're definitely getting some interaction between the two. Watch how it pulls this one backwards into itself, and then the strength is pulled out by the secondary storm. Here's the one coming off of Africa. And it's so far out from in time that we don't know what type of tracking we're going to get once it gets into this area. Again, strengthening here. Just depends on what happens between now and then. Right now, we got to focus on Lee, though. Now, since this morning in the last frame, it almost looks like it's starting to make that turn. Pretty much moving west this morning. Not much of one, but almost. I'm kind of holding my cursor where it was at. Possibly right in there, that last turn. Very powerful, well-wrapped Category 3 storm. Let me back this out a little. Here's the wide Atlantic view. Here's Lee, Margot, the secondary storm coming in here. But notice they're both very well organized. Margot's a little drier because look how much of this Saharan sand layer that's being pushed, or the Saharan dust layer, depends on who's naming it. Look how much of it's pulling out of the path of the rest of the hurricanes. So that's one of the reasons it's much drier in some of these areas. Lee is not having that problem, guys. You can see how far out in front of it that it's starting to affect its weather. And we'll see, or you've seen in the models, how it can push a dent into a high pressure system. You got this front coming right here. We're kind of getting mixture of clouds. I don't know if we're going to get much rain. I hope we do. We need it. I hope everyone does. So to you guys in Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Oklahoma, it looks like, all the way up the Mississippi River Valley, are possibly about to get some rain. We're kind of in the dry area of Mississippi yet, but we are hoping. But that's going to change as this thing gets up there. Again, it may be starting to slightly turn left in that last frame. Check it. Yeah, that's going to give all the models a little better starting point from the turn to the north. At that point, they'll start getting everything together, including this front, high pressure area setting here. And so it's hard to pinpoint anything, but just remember the size of that cone, all of the northeast and New England. You be ready. We're watching it. Important updates will be coming, so it's a heads up. Be safe.